Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Governor of Florida is suing the federal government and the CDC. We kind of know what the CDC's position is, so we're wondering maybe, just maybe, the federal government has a different opinion and may step in and let cruise ships sail. So I have two interviews that I want to show you today. One is a press house secretary and one is the transportation minister. And let's see what they say about cruise ships. And hopefully maybe a little brighter sign. Okay, let's see what they say during a White House press conference when they're asked about the lawsuit from the governor.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced a lawsuit today against the CDC and the federal government demanding that cruise liners be able to operate again. And Florida's Attorney General said the suit was filed this morning against those entities and HHS, pushing to have the government's conditional sale order declared unlawful. Does the White House have a response to Florida's lawsuit?
We don't have a direct response to a lawsuit nor a comment on a specific legal action, but I will just reiterate that the CDC guidance is based on data and health and medical guidelines. Hence, that's why they put it out and why they regularly update it.
The President has set forth July 4th as the date he'd like to see Americans who are vaccinated be able to gather in small groups. At the same time, the CDC said last week that there's a low risk for vaccinated Americans who travel. So does the President think it's an appropriate timeline of July 4th? That's what the cruise industry, specifically Norwegian travel, is asking for, is the July 4th date here.
We would defer to the CDC on any updated guidelines, but I don't anticipate that, but I would defer to them on any expectation they have of changing those guidelines. Again, they base them on health and medical experts who work at the CDC. They base them on data. The President's announcement on July 4th has nothing to do with cruise lines, as you know. It has to do with incentivizing, encouraging Americans to get access to the vaccine when they can get vaccinated. As we know, by the end of May, we will have enough vaccine supply to ensure every adult American can be vaccinated. So that's more about gatherings, small gatherings in your backyards, which is quite different from cruises, of course.
Well, the reason I brought up July 4th is because that's the date that Norwegian Cruise Line is asking for them to be able to allow to vaccinated individuals to be able to cruise. So that's where the July 4th date comes from. But also, more broadly speaking, they're asking in this industry for them to be able to be treated the same way that planes and airlines are able to be treated. So is there any specific concern that the White House has about allowing people who've been vaccinated to be able to resume cruising?
Again, we rely on the guidance of the CDC, health and medical experts. There's a return to science in this administration. They have guidelines they've put out on cruise lines. If they decide to update them, that is their prerogative to do, but that's not a decision made by the White House.
Okay, well, that's pretty clear. Basically, they don't want any of the responsibility. They do not want to be the ones who come out and say cruises can sail, and then if something happens, look, you opened too early or you did things wrong. They're going to say the CDC, they're our science experts, they're our guides, what they say goes. So that does not bode well right now whatsoever for any quick resolution to the lawsuit, or, you know, it's going to end up going through courts. It's going to go to the Supreme Court at some point. A lot of lawsuits are going to be going to the Supreme Court for different various reasons, for lockdowns and business losses and shutdown, you know what I mean. But we also have the transportation minister. Well, maybe the transportation minister is going to come out and say something a little different and a little more encouraging, other than we're just going to follow the CDC. We're going to just let them be the experts, and they're going to tell the United States government what to do. So let's see what he said.
Your Transportation Secretary, travel, obviously, a big part of what you have to worry about. To Americans eager to get back overseas, whether it's by plane or by cruise ship, you know there have been questions about the cruise industry, especially this past week. CDC issued some guidance. There's concerns that it perhaps didn't have enough specifics, or specific benchmarks, I guess. Have you been in touch with the CDC about that industry's concerns? And to cruise industry leaders who say we should be treated more like the airlines, what would you say?
Well, the bottom line is safety, right? And we look, I'm the Secretary of Transportation. I can't wait for us all to be on the move as much as possible in a safe and responsible way. But it's got to be safe and responsible. And airplanes have one safety profile. Cruise ships have another. Vehicles have another. And each one needs to be treated based on what's safe for that sector. I'll tell you, I certainly care a lot about seeing the cruise sector thrive. And I know that CDC is hopeful that a lot of these operators will be in a position to be sailing by midsummer, and laying out these specific kind of gates that they need to get through is a very important step toward that.
Here we go again. We're going to have to do it safely. It's the only industry being regulated. It's the only industry being locked down, unable to do business. They say they're going to follow the science. Well, the science is basically said there's been 450 cruise passengers, 190 some different cruises, and only a handful of people who have ever caught the virus on the cruise ships. The protocols are in place, the science is there, the facts are there, the case studies are there live, yet they just keep on saying, well, we're going to follow the CDC's guidance. And if they keep following the CDC's guidance, the CDC doesn't want to come out and let cruises sail and have something happen. So they will keep cruises locked up forever if they are the ones who seem to have to make this decision. Do you see any cruise line heading towards one of those test sailings? Do you see any of them working towards that right now? I mean, Virgin Cruise Line, who is for almost a year now scheduled to release one of their ships in the United States, just said, all right, the hell with the United States. We're going to open up in Europe. And now the Scarlet Lady that was supposed to premiere here in the United States, nope, it's going to premiere in another country. And they may just end up staying there for a while. Because who knows how long the CDC is actually going to take to make up their minds. Let's listen to the rest of the interview.
And laying out these specific kind of gates that they need to get through is a very important step toward them.
And to the industry leaders who say midsummer is too late, to the governors who say that's too late for our state economies, you would say what?
We want to do this as soon as we responsibly can, but we also have to make sure that it's safe.
So there you go. We have to make sure it's safe. The trouble with the guidelines that the CDC is issuing now, it doesn't seem to be about working with or mitigation or lowering risk of the virus. It seems to be about eliminating the whole possibility of virus. And they can't even do that in the White House. They can't do that in hospitals. They can't do that in schools. So why do they think that they can possibly mitigate to zero on a cruise ship? That's not the point. The point is to lessen the chances, reduce the risk, and have the alternatives if something happens to make sure it doesn't spread. And the cruise lines have done that. They've proven that. And they have the proper processes in place. But as you can see, I do not feel we're going to get any help whatsoever from the federal government as far as overturning the CDC and telling them they have to change things. So again, once again, it's all on the CDC. And do we see any movement right now from the CDC from their path that they set out basically over a year ago? Lock down the cruise ships, put as many roadblocks, or as the minister said, hurdles in their way as we possibly can until this thing is finally over, and then we'll let them get back to business. And then we'll let them create jobs. And then we'll let families maybe try and get jobs again and find another house for the house they lost because we kept them shut down. And for those businesses that close down, well, maybe other businesses can start up again. It's very frustrating when they keep on saying it's science-based and it's fact-based, yet all the facts and all the science say what they're doing is too restrictive because we've proven the other things already. We've already proven it. And nowhere else in the world are they asking cruise lines and cruise ships to jump through these hoops and roadblocks and cement fences other than the CDC in North America. Well, that's where we stand. No help coming there, and it's not looking like you're going to see cruises anytime this summer out of U.S. ports. Sorry to bring you the bad news. Well, I hope you appreciate the update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let's see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.